engaged in insurrection.
The 14th Amendment and efforts to keep Donald Trump off the ballot in Maine and Colorado. What's your take on those efforts?
Look, this is just my guess because nobody can predict the Supreme Court. I'd much rather predict elections than to predict what the Supreme Court will decide. But assuming they take it up, and I think they will, who else is going to make the decision? And they certainly did in 2000 with Bush v. Gore. If they do take it up and they give us a definitive ruling as opposed to sidestepping it, then I rather suspect that they're going to say, at least for the primaries, that those who qualify according to the party rules and the state rules should in fact be on the ballot. Now, if you take the 14th Amendment, Section 3, just a plain reading of that section, just take it out, read it. Just a plain reading would suggest.
And I can read it. I can read it for viewers right now.
Go ahead. You go ahead and read it right now.
Section 3, easiest place to find it, National Constitution Center, but you can find it pretty much anywhere. Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, no person shall be a senator or representative in Congress or elector of president and vice president or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or under any state who, having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress or as an officer of the United States or as a member of any state legislature or as an executive or judicial officer of any state, to support the Constitution of the United States, shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same, or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof, but Congress may, by a vote of 2/3 of each House, remove such disability. Section 3, Article 14.
Yes, and to me, that plain reading says that Trump engaged in insurrection. He engaged in it. It doesn't say you have to be convicted of insurrection. It also doesn't mention the president specifically, but there is, in the debate that occurred in the Senate at the time this amendment came up in 1867, 1868, right after the Civil War, this question was asked by one senator to one of the senators sponsoring the amendment. And his response was, well, of course the president's included. We said other officers. And they specifically mentioned electors, presidential electors. But you know what? Even though I think it does apply to Trump, I think it's better if he is on the ballot. Governor Gavin Newsom, who's hardly nonpartisan. He's a Democrat, strong Democrat, liberal Democrat. He responded, I believe, just last week that we defeat candidates at the polls. We don't take them off the ballot in small d democratic societies. I can argue with that based on what I've just interpreted from Section 3 of Amendment 14. But it's better, if you don't like Trump, it's better to defeat him at the polls, have millions of people participate in the decision rather than allow a small number of elites on the courts or secretaries of state in states make that decision for everyone else. Trump engaged in insurrection. Trump engaged in insurrection.